We've got another rousing CSS battle for you today, folks. We're going to be creating an alien eye with CSS. We're going to be seeing who can write the smallest CSS and HTML to get us to the highest score possible. If you want to compete, this is number 136 in CSSBattle.dev. Set your own clock for 15 minutes, hit go, and see if you can beat us in that amount of time. No cheating. You guys ready?
Ready, go. All right, here we go. I am going to, last time I used CSS radial gradients. Worked out for me. So I'm going to go right ahead, go for a background image, radial gradient, circle, blue, start at 0, go for 200 px, and then we'll do transparent. The shortest way to do transparent is with the hex code with 2 things on it, and that is 0. Okay, so that's a full circle.
I came to play. All right, BG color. BG color equals, yes, okay? So I'm pulling out all the stops here, folks. I'm gonna do this with one P tag. All I need is one P.
First things first, let's get the background. Let's remove all these extra styles and that and that. Probably just have a div with nested, but we'll set the background color to this. Let's set everything's background to that color, and also remove all the margin from everything.
I'm going to be doing this entirely with one element. So we're going to have I can do this with one element. These are all circles. So width is going to be equal to something small, like 200 pix. It's not even that small. Height is going to be something like 200 pix because these are going to be the same size. Border radius is going to be 50%, not 500%. And let's go ahead and just get rid of these pix off the start here. I do like writing CSS.
By the way, the reason why I'm using HTML tag here is because I've always wanted to vertically center them, but the body is not by default 100% height. So instead of having to size the body, I'm going to just attack the tag. All right, so the first one, background image, radial gradient. Now we're just going to do multiples of that.
And then we need the dark yellow circle. So that's going to be P tag here. We will have some nested elements in there, but let's style this P tag. I'm going to give it an attribute of X so that I can target it. That is going to have a background. That's this dark yellow color. It'll have, let's say, a width of 200, height of 200, and a border radius of, I'm going to try this Q unit. I mean, 50% would be the same amount. That'll give us the circle. Okay, I'm not going to use the Q unit. I learned about that in a comment.
Of course, off the jump, nothing is showing up. Did I goof up border? Oh, I did. I did goof up border radius. Okay, but that doesn't, oh, I see it. I wrote a P inside of here for my attribute selector. That's why it didn't work. There we go. Obviously, I need this to be much smaller. Let's move it. Let's move it like, those little mischievous guys from Madagascar.
Okay, so the second one is this guy, 110 pixels. Oh, I gotta start with the smallest one. I'm wrong here. Okay, so we're gonna start with the smallest one, and that will be this first color, this blue here. No, not the blue. It's going to be the gray.
I'm going to fix position it in the exact spot. So we'll make everything fixed position, and then this will have a top of 100 and a left of 100. Let's just get it in the exact right spot. We'll do a top of, let's say, 50, 60, and then a left of 110, 120. Okay, so it's just a little too small.
This thing very well may be in the center. That's really tough. It doesn't look like it is. So we can do style is equal to align content center. Margin is going to be 0 auto. That needs to be on the P. All right, man, I've already wasted some time here. I need to get this ever so on here. And then we're going to do a translate 10 pix to move it over. Okay.
Now that we can see that, we'll change this blue to that. Okay. Oh, I think I need to go way smaller. 75. Okay, we'll fuss with that. And then there's 2 more here. And this third one is going to be the blue. And that will go 120. And then the fourth one is going to be yellow again.
Maybe it is 180, a 180 circle. It is. Okay, so that gets it exactly. Let me zoom in and out and make sure that it's, yeah, that should be a perfect match for the circle in the center. So it's a 180 by 180 circle. Then inside the circle, I want that dark bluish green circle. So I'm gonna have another p tag inside of here. We'll give this an attribute of y. I'm gonna style it the same way as the other, but then we could just override the background.
Holy guacamole. That put it in the right spot. Okay, now it's time to do background, or let's do box shadow here. I'm going to do box shadow for literally everything, simply because I can, and I feel like that is the right strategy. So we're going to say 10 pixels. It's going to move 0 pixels vertically. It is going to be a spread. We're going to do 0, and we're going to say something like 10 pixels for now, and it's going to be this color. And it's going to be 20, 30 pixels. Okay, so the spread is too much, or the, I don't know if that's called the spread or not. What? What a tremendous guess that was.
All right, we're in good shape. Let's start sizing things down now. Let's start from the outside in. So I'm going to throw on diff, 80, 90, 95, no, 6. Oh, these got to go way down. Okay, so we're going to do 35, 45 here. Okay, good. First one, this one's gonna be way bigger. 120. Man, this whole video is gonna be me just pushing pixels around. Ooh, almost there.
All I have to do is position this one into the right spot. Its top needs to go down a bit more, so like 70, 80, and then the left needs to be a bit more, so we'll do 140. And then it's definitely too big, so let's bring it down to like 130. And then let's work on the diff. Let's just get it centered exactly on the top like we did with the last one. Bring it over a little bit more. Yeah, so it's 146, 145. So that gets the top exactly where it needs to be. Then let's make it 140 by 140, much closer, and then bring it over a little bit from the left. Yes.
This next one is going to be, let's say, 40 pixels like this. Okay, 40 pixels might have been too much, but like maybe 0. I found the formula. I have found the formula.
All right, so we have them all. Now we got to push them over. So my move here is going to be background position. You can use multiple background positions as long as you keep them in the order as you specified your background images. So the first one is the inside one. So X is going to be 10px 0. The second one is going to be the yellow. Oh, that actually looks bang on. Okay. So we'll keep that. Third one is the blue. Oh, it's not actually even moving. Bang on. It wasn't even rendering properly. And then the third one is 0. Oh man, I'm almost there.
Oh, is it because it's 50% border radius? Like if I were to do like 100%. Whoa, that sucks. How is this not creating a circle? How could that possibly be? That doesn't make any stinking sense. Because this, for all intents and purposes, is just about there, and the border radius is now causing extreme discomfort. We're gonna have to do this with another p tag, which sucks because this adds so much more code to this. Maybe I can come back to this if I get this at least cooking a little bit here. Man, that sucks.
Now we need another yellow circle. We'll just do PZ. And it's going to have all the same styling of the others. We'll just bring the width and the height down. So this needs to be even smaller than 140. So let's just do 100 by 100. Top needs to be more than the blue circle. So let's go 100 there. And then left, try 100 there. 20, 130, 140. Seems close. That's exact. I guessed it exactly. Okay. And then let's get that last circle inside of there.
17. Okay, it's starting at the right spot, but it has to be much bigger. Much smaller? 70. Yes, okay. Now we're going to move it over to the left. 15. A little less. 12. That's looking pretty close.
So this will be another P. We'll give it an attribute of W. Style all of those in the same way, and then W. has a width even smaller. So let's try like 50 and a height of 50. And it's going to have a background of this color. And then top will need to be even more. So we'll try 140, 130. And then left will be even more. So like 160, 170, 180. And I think the trick I learned here is like get the top of the circle aligned exactly, and then you can find the width. So let's just get it aligned exactly.
Oh man, I hate this. I hate this because I was really cruising on something that was working. And now I'm adding a whole nother element here. Translate, we could say -50%, -50%, and then left 50%, top 50%. And right now it's sitting, I know I'll tweak this in a second. Right now it's sitting above everything, but if we move this here, it will sit below.
99.8% match. What's goofed up? Let's work on the yellow one. The yellow one is the third one. It needs to be slightly larger. Oh no, that's not the right one. Yellow is the one, oh, the second one. 51 pixels. Okay. And then maybe -1 px. Oh, that made it worse. What does that mean? If it's showing, that means mine is too large?
And then bring it over a few more or a few less, so left 180. Okay. So this looks exact. Let's submit and hope that it's not 99.999% to match 100%. Yes. Beautiful. Okay. So we've got 100% match. Now let's work on getting it as small as possible.
The diff stuff is always tough because you can get so close with these diffs, and especially if you're zoomed in. Okay, that's 100% match. So I very most definitely want to get this to be at a certain state where I can say this is the smallest, best code.
And we have about 6 minutes left, so maybe I can find some units that'll bring the sizing down. Like, I know I don't need this last curly brace. Actually, the only spot I'm using a unit is on the radius here. I don't know if I can get anything smaller. Let me just double check that I'm not missing any spaces anywhere.
99.8% match. 99.9% match? The biggest one is too big. 89. No, it went down. It was fine.
If these three elements were children, then the position absolute, potentially the top and the left values would be smaller. Because instead of making them fully fixed position, then their position just relative to their parent. I don't know if I have enough time to do that. So there's only 5 minutes left. So I'm actually just gonna copy my current solution, but then try to get it working where all of these are nested elements with position absolute.
I mean, that's a pretty high score. I'm gonna copy and paste this right now just to say, hey, I can at least get one more character off of here. I can get rid of this semicolon there. Is there any other minifications I can do? I can get rid of this semicolon. I think I can get rid of this.
That better be 100% or I'm quitting. 100% match. Good. Okay. All right. We're good. We're good. We're good. All right. So now we got to figure out how to make this as small as possible. So we can take the style tag off. Can I combine these two things? Why did all the colors just go weird? Oh, I'm diffing it. Oh, there we go. That's why I can't do that.
We need to turn P of X into a container. And then I think, well, that's going to be even more because I think I have to close all of these so that they become children. Everything else is going to have position absolute. Yeah, I don't like this path because there's going to be so many more characters to have the closing tags, and that's not going to be enough to save us. Let me just stare at this a little bit more. We have 2.5 minutes left. I'm just going to stare at it, see if I can find any last minute optimizations, but otherwise, pretty happy with this.
We have 2 box shadows that are the same color. Would it be shorter to say color is equal to this, and then you could eliminate this? Could you? Let's undo.
Can I leave off this curly bracket? Yes, I can. Beautiful. Okay.
Okay, looks like I can eliminate that space, and that's good. Can get rid of those. This is like extreme optimization time here.
I wish there was a better way to put transparent. You know, the word transparent, a CSS variable is technically one character less, but instantiating that variable is going to add. So I don't need that. Oh, there's a space right here.
Yeah, I couldn't find anything. I thought of potentially replacing 50% with another unit or like 180 with the percentage, but it's all 3 characters. So this is as short as I got. Let's see how the other voice did.
Did I just find a way to remove 6 more characters?
I don't know how I could have done this any better at this point. I'm annoyed.
Oh, I think time's up.
Yeah, how'd you guys do?
I killed it with radial gradients again.
Oh,
Radial gradients is my new move.
Oh,
Yeah, I
that.
didn't even think of that.
I think you may, yeah, I think radial gradient might have been the move here, and I'm sad to hear that.
All right, I got
yeah, that's
624.
Yeah,
and
that's great.
we've always, you remember during the live show, we were trying to vertically center something in the body and we couldn't figure it out.
Yeah.
It's because you can put a background on the body and it spans the entire height, but the body element itself is not 100% height unless you explicitly add 100% to the HTML element and the body. So I was like, screw the body. We're styling the HTML tag. So I used a bunch of radial gradients and then I used background position to just scooch each of them left and right.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Amazing. Yeah.
I do want to push back. You can't. The reason why the align content didn't work in the live show was because of Firefox. Because I used align content on the body, no issues here, filled 100%, no problem.
Can you explain radial gradients? I've never used them. What are the arguments?
Yeah.
What's going on here?
Basically, when you're sizing a radial gradient, you can tell it where to start and stop. So you can say start at the furthest corner and they will span from that. And then the trick that I'm using is that I'm using hard stops. So I'm having a circle radial gradient, starts at 0, goes for 50 pixels, and then you immediately put a hard stop after it. And then I've had to use a transparent. This is the smallest possible way to represent transparent in CSS. And then by putting the hard stop in there, right? If I didn't put that in there, it would span the entire thing, I guess. Actually, I don't even know how that part works.
Yeah, it makes it smooth.
What am I looking at? So which circles did you draw in which order? Like, what's the first one?
You start by the center and go out.
Center,
and I guess because they stack backwards. I did it opposite the first way. I thought like you would stack the back one first, but you start with
That's the opposite.
the one in the middle and go forward.
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome.
I did have to have 2 elements, which I should have only had to have 1 element. And so with a box shadow, you just did a box shadow and scooch it over with the position. What I found is, too, that they were all multiples of 10 and then 20. So if I scooched over by 10 and then 20, the next one would be 0, then 40, and the next one is going to be 10 and 60. And that was like the thing. So I had figured that out really quickly. But the problem is, guys, check this out. This is insane to me, and I don't know how to fix this. If I go the next step up, which is 60, and then I make it red, watch what happens to this box shadow. It's not a circle anymore.
Yeah, it flattens. What's going on there?
Yeah. And so my only assumption is that it has to do with the fact that this div is 60 by 60. Because if I went to 80 by 80, it goes to being a circle. But then what I figured this out too late, because what I would have done is I would have gone to 80/80, scaled all the math, and then used a CSS scale to get it down to be the right size. And then I would have been at here for size wise.
The thing with border radius, I learned this when researching how the squircles work, is that once it passes more than 50% of the greater of the width or height, then it just flips to... It maxes out.
So you think a box shadow is just going to repeat the shape. This is bizarre. And I was like, I'm cruising. I'm going to finish this with 10 minutes left and get 100%. And then it was like, what? What is going on?
It's just being clipped.
But my high score was 618, 5.9, 100% match. Really bummed out that I couldn't figure that out. Couldn't take it across the finish line.
Actually really good, though.
Yeah,
it's nice when it's all 10 base, too, as well. You're not fussing with pixels here and there.
But that would have been so short, Scott, if you didn't. Like, you would have that entire last selector would have not have been on there.
Oh, yeah, I know. Huge
yeah,
bummer.
You would have killed me.
Well, that's great for me because...
You got faster?
We tied. We tied with a completely different approach. 322 characters.
61859. Wow.
Yeah, so exact same score as you. Yeah, exact
Position
same score.
fixed.
But I just have position fixed with 4 circles. You position that yellow circle in the right spot, and then the blue one, and then the other yellow one, and then the olive one.
Wow.
Yeah, 322 characters.
Could you use inset instead of top right, bottom left?
Dude, I will tell you what, inset west does not work in this. I don't know why. I used position fixed, inset, auto on mine, nothing. Inset 100 pixels, whatever, nothing. Every time I go to inset, it does not work in CSS Battles.
So you probably would have destroyed this if you could use inset.
Oh, but then I'd probably have to use pixels, so that makes it a little bit longer. Yeah.
Oh, you have to use pixels with inset.
You have to put at least some unit on there to get it to work.
Huh.
Nice. Wow.
This was a nail biter. Very, very close.
Yeah. I didn't think you'd get anywhere close to the brevity of mine, but the radial gradients is a lot to type. A+.
Yeah, good
Wes,
luck, everybody.
pulling a string of W's together.
Just coming out from the, I don't know any sports analogies, but all right. Of course, I won again. Radial gradients for the win. That's all I'm using from here on out. Thanks for everyone for tuning in. If you want to watch us do any other ones, we have one right here. And I don't know if they still do it, but another one right here. And thanks for tuning in. Comment below who you think did the best job, unless you're going to say CJ, and we'll catch you in the next one. Peace.